The woman's profile picture was perfect. Long, dark hair, a warm smile, eyes that seemed to promise something real. Her bio said she was a student in Tel Aviv, interested in art, travel, and meaningful conversations. She messaged him late one night, just as he was scrolling through Instagram after a long shift at the Hamas training camp. Her words were soft, curious, playful. He didn't hesitate. He replied. For weeks, they talked. Late-night voice notes, flirty jokes, shared music playlists. She asked about his life, his dreams, his frustrations. He told her everything. Where he trained, who his commanders were, how they moved weapons, how they planned attacks. He didn't know it, but every message, every photo, every confession was being recorded, analyzed, and sent straight to a secure Mossad operations center in Tel Aviv. Then, one evening, she asked to meet in person. He agreed. He packed a small bag, took a bus to the border, crossed into Israel under a fake ID, and walked into a quiet cafe in a nondescript city. She was waiting at a corner table, smiling, just like in her photos. He sat down. They ordered coffee. They laughed. And then, in less than a minute, the room filled with men in plain clothes. No sirens, no shouting, just cold, precise efficiency. He was cuffed, blindfolded, and taken away. He wasn't meeting a woman. He was walking into a trap built by Israel's most secretive intelligence agency, and this was just one of dozens of Hamas operatives caught the same way. Not with drones, not with raids, but with a simple, devastating weapon, a fake online relationship. This is the story of how Mossad turned social media into a battlefield, how a single honey trap operation unraveled an entire Hamas cell, and how a generation of militants learned the hard way that in the digital age, the most dangerous person online might not be who they appear to be. Hamas, like many militant groups, has long relied on secrecy, compartmentalization, and strict operational security. Cells are small. Communication is encrypted. Movement is controlled. Physical surveillance is risky and expensive. But there's one thing Hamas fighters almost all have in common. They're young men, often in their late teens or early 20s, living in Gaza or the West Bank, cut off from the outside world, and spending hours every day on social media. For Mossad, that's not just a pattern, it's a vulnerability. In the early 2010 seconds, Israeli intelligence began noticing a shift. Hamas operatives were increasingly using public social media platforms. Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Telegram, not just to communicate with each other, but to vent, to flirt, to seek validation, and to escape the suffocating reality of life under blockade and occupation. They posted photos of weapons, training grounds, and even coded messages about upcoming operations. But more importantly, they were lonely. Mossad realized that if they couldn't always track these men physically, they could track them digitally. And if they could track them, they could manipulate them. The idea was simple: create fake online identities, attractive, relatable, emotionally engaging women, and use them to build trust, extract information, and ultimately lure operatives into Israel, where they could be arrested or eliminated. This wasn't just a few random stings. This became a systematic, long-term campaign run by a specialized unit within Mossad's cyber division, often working in coordination with Shin Bet, Israel's internal security agency, and the IDF's Unit 8200. The operation had a code name, though it has never been officially disclosed. Former intelligence officers who have spoken on background describe it as Operation Digital Seduction, or Project Mirage in internal briefings. The goal wasn't just to catch one or two operatives. It was to dismantle entire Hamas networks from the inside, using the operatives' own emotions against them. To understand how these honey traps work, it's important to understand the psychology of the target. Most Hamas operatives caught in these operations are young men, often recruited in their teens. Many come from poor or unstable families. Many have lost relatives in conflict. Many feel a deep sense of injustice, humiliation, and powerlessness. Hamas offers them a sense of purpose, brotherhood, and identity, but it also isolates them. They live under constant surveillance, both from Israeli forces and from their own commanders. They can't travel freely. They can't date openly. They can't express doubt or weakness. Social media becomes an emotional outlet. It's where they can be normal for a few hours a day. They follow celebrities, watch music videos, and, increasingly, they flirt with women online. For many, it's the only form of intimacy they've ever known. Mossad operatives, often psychologists and behavioral analysts, study this behavior in depth. They map out the typical profile, age, education, location, language, interests, and emotional triggers. They look for signs of loneliness, frustration, or a desire for escape. Then they build a fake persona tailored to that profile. The fake woman is never random. She's carefully constructed. Her photos are real, often taken from the profiles of real Israeli women who have given consent or whose images are legally obtained and altered. Her bio is plausible: a student, a nurse, a graphic designer, someone with a normal life in Tel Aviv, Haifa, or Jerusalem. She speaks Arabic fluently, often with a Palestinian or Jordanian accent, to avoid suspicion. She doesn't come on too strong. She starts with light, friendly conversation. She asks about his day, his hobbies, his favorite music. She shares personal stories, a sick relative, a difficult breakup, a dream of traveling abroad. She makes him feel seen, understood, and desired. Over time, the relationship deepens. They exchange voice notes. They send photos. They talk about politics, religion, and the conflict, but carefully. The Mossad operative never reveals her true identity or political stance. She stays neutral, empathetic, and curious. She lets him talk, and he, craving connection, begins to reveal more than he should. He might mention his unit, his commander's name, the location of a training camp, or the timing of an operation. He might send a photo of himself in uniform, or of weapons, or of a map. He doesn't think of it as intelligence. He thinks of it as sharing his life with someone he trusts. And that's exactly what Mossad wants. Behind every honey trap operation are several key players, each with a specific role. First, there's the profile builder, usually a young female Mossad operative or contractor, often in her 20s or early 30s, fluent in Arabic and deeply familiar with Palestinian and Arab culture. She creates the fake identity, selects the photos, writes the bio, and crafts the initial messages. She's trained in psychology, deception, and digital forensics. Her job is to make the profile feel real, not just attractive. Then there's the handler, a senior Mossad officer who oversees the operation. He monitors the conversations, decides when to escalate, and coordinates with other agencies. He's the one who decides when to move from online flirting to a real-world meeting. He also ensures that the operation stays within legal and ethical boundaries, at least as defined by Israeli intelligence standards. Next, there's the technical team, cyber experts from Unit 8200 and Mossad's cyber division. They handle the digital infrastructure, fake accounts, encrypted messaging, metadata analysis, and tracking. They can often trace a target's location, device, and network, even if he's using a VPN or a burner phone. They also monitor for counter-surveillance Hamas operatives who might be trying to run their own honey traps on Israeli soldiers or civilians. Finally, there's the field team, the plainclothes agents who make the arrest. They're trained in close quarters, combat, surveillance, and rapid extraction. They don't wear uniforms. They don't carry obvious weapons. They move silently, quickly, and without drama. Their job is to grab the target, blindfold him, and get him to a secure facility before anyone, including Hamas, realizes what's happened. All of this is coordinated from a secure operations center, often located in a nondescript building in Tel Aviv. The room is filled with screens, maps, and real-time data feeds. Every conversation, every photo, every location ping is logged and analyzed. The operation is treated like a military mission, with strict rules of engagement and a clear chain of command. To see how this works in practice, consider the case of a Hamas operative codenamed Abu Omar in internal Israeli intelligence reports. His real name has never been publicly disclosed, but his story is representative of dozens of similar operations. Abu Omar was in his early 20s, from a refugee camp in the northern Gaza Strip. He had joined Hamas military wing, the Izz ad-Din al-Qassam brigades, after his older brother was killed in an Israeli airstrike. He was trained in weapons, explosives, and small unit tactics. He was not a high-ranking commander, but he was trusted, well-connected, and deeply committed. In early 2021, he began spending more time on Instagram and WhatsApp. He followed Palestinian influencers, watched Israeli music videos, and started messaging women he found attractive. He wasn't looking for anything serious, just attention, validation, maybe a little romance. Mossad noticed him through automated monitoring tools that scan social media for keywords, patterns, and connections to known Hamas figures. His profile was flagged as high interest, young, male from Gaza, with links to Hamas accounts, and active in militant groups on Telegram. A Mossad team began building a profile tailored to him. They chose a woman in her mid-20s, a student of fine arts in Tel Aviv, with a warm, slightly melancholic vibe. Her photos showed her in cafes, at the beach, and in art galleries. Her bio mentioned a love for Arabic poetry, indie music, and deep conversations. She sent him a direct message. "I saw your profile and thought you looked interesting. What kind of art do you like?" He replied within minutes. Over the next few weeks, they exchanged hundreds of messages. She asked about his life, his dreams, his frustrations. He told her about his brother's death, his anger at Israel, and his sense of duty to Hamas. He didn't use the word Hamas directly, but he described his training, his unit, and his commanders in enough detail for Mossad to identify them. She never challenged his views. She listened. She sympathized. She made him feel understood. And slowly, she began to flirt. They started sending voice notes. He recorded himself in his room, sometimes with the sound of distant gunfire or drones in the background. She recorded herself in a quiet apartment, with soft music playing. They shared music playlists, poems, and personal stories. After about 2 months, she suggested meeting in person. "I know it's risky," she wrote, "but I feel like we have something real. I want to see you." He hesitated. He knew it was dangerous to cross into Israel, but he was lonely. He was in love, or at least he thought he was, and he trusted her. They agreed to meet in a small city near the Green Line. She gave him instructions: use a fake ID, take a bus, avoid checkpoints, and come alone. He followed every step. On the day of the meeting, Mossad was already in place. Surveillance teams had been monitoring his movements for days. Drones tracked his bus. Cyber teams monitored his phone. Field agents were positioned around the cafe. When he walked in, she was waiting. They hugged, they ordered coffee, they laughed, and then, in less than a minute, the field team moved in. He was cuffed, blindfolded, and taken to a secure facility. Within hours, he was interrogated by Shin Bet. Over the next few days, he revealed the structure of his cell, the names of his commanders, the locations of weapons caches, and details of planned attacks. His entire network was rolled up. Several operatives were arrested, others went underground. A planned rocket attack was disrupted, and all of it started with a single Instagram message. Mossad's honey trap operations are not improvised. They follow a detailed, repeatable methodology, refined over years of trial and error. 1. Target selection. The first step is identifying the right target. Mossad uses a combination of human intelligence, HUMANT, signals intelligence, SIGINT, and open source intelligence, OSINT, to build a database of potential operatives. They look for age and gender, young men, 18-30, are ideal. Location, Gaza, West Bank, or diaspora communities. Social media activity, frequency, content, connections, language and cultural markers, signs of loneliness, frustration, or emotional vulnerability. They also cross-reference this data with known Hamas networks, past operations, and informants. The goal is to find someone who is both operationally valuable and emotionally susceptible. 2. Profile creation. Once a target is selected, Mossad creates a fake online identity. This is not a generic hot girl profile. It's a fully fleshed-out persona with a backstory, personality, and digital footprint. The profile includes realistic photos, often from real Israeli women, with consent or legal acquisition, a plausible biography, student, nurse, artist, etc., a consistent online presence, posts, likes, comments, followers, a matching phone number and messaging apps, often using burner devices or virtual numbers. The woman's personality is carefully calibrated, warm, intelligent, slightly vulnerable, and emotionally available. She's not overtly sexual, but she's flirtatious and attentive. She makes the target feel special. 3. Initial contact. The first message is crucial. It must be natural, non-threatening, and tailored to the target's interests. Common openers include, "I saw your profile and thought you looked interesting. We have some mutual friends, I think. I love the music you posted. What's your favorite artist?" The goal is to spark curiosity, not suspicion. Mossad operatives are trained to avoid red flags, too many questions, too much flattery, or anything that feels like an interrogation. 4. Relationship building. Over days or weeks, the relationship deepens. The Mossad operative uses psychological techniques to build trust and emotional dependence. Mirroring. Matching the target's language, tone, and interests. Self-disclosure. Sharing personal stories to encourage reciprocity. Intermittent reinforcement. Alternating attention with periods of distance to create obsession. Emotional validation. Making the target feel understood, desired, and important. They also introduce subtle pressure. "I wish we could meet. I feel like we're meant to be together. I'm tired of being alone." 5. Information extraction. As trust grows, the target begins to reveal sensitive information. Mossad operatives never ask direct questions like, "Where is your base?" Instead, they use indirect, conversational techniques. "What's your daily routine like? Do you ever get to travel? What's the most dangerous thing you've ever done?" They also encourage the target to send photos and videos. A photo of a uniform, a weapon, or a location can be worth more than hours of interrogation. All of this is recorded and analyzed in real time. Linguists, analysts, and cyber experts look for names, places, dates, and operational details. They cross-reference the information with other intelligence to verify its accuracy. 6. The lure. Once enough information is gathered, Mossad decides whether to escalate to a real-world meeting. This is the riskiest phase. If the target is suspicious, he might alert Hamas, go underground, or even set a trap of his own. To minimize risk, Mossad chooses a low-profile location, a small city, not Tel Aviv or Jerusalem, uses a fake ID and cover story for the operative, ensures the target comes alone and unarmed, has multiple escape routes and backup teams in place. The meeting is kept short and controlled. The operative's job is to confirm the target's identity and trigger the arrest, not to continue the relationship. 7. The arrest and aftermath. When the target arrives, the field team moves quickly and quietly. He is taken to a secure facility, where he is interrogated by Shin Bet or military intelligence. The interrogation is psychological, not physical. Interrogators use the relationship against him. She was never real. She was Mossad. Everything you told her, we know. They confront him with the evidence, messages, photos, voice notes, and operational details. Many operatives break down, not just because of the betrayal, but because they realize how deeply they were manipulated. From there, the intelligence is used to dismantle networks, prevent attacks, and plan future operations. These operations are not always smooth. There are moments of tension, near disasters, and unexpected twists. One major turning point came in 2019, when a Hamas operative in the West Bank became suspicious of a woman he was messaging. He noticed small inconsistencies. Her Arabic had a slight Israeli accent. Her photos were too perfect, and she never wanted to video call. He reported her to his commander. Hamas launched its own investigation. They created fake profiles and began running counter-honey traps on Israeli soldiers and civilians. They also started training operatives to recognize digital manipulation, how to spot fake accounts, how to avoid oversharing, and how to verify identities. Mossad responded by making its profiles even more realistic. They began using deepfake technology to create synthetic voices and videos. They embedded operatives in real social circles, so their profiles had genuine friends and interactions. They also started using male honey traps, targeting female Hamas supporters or sympathizers. Another twist came in 2022 when a Hamas cell in Lebanon used a honey trap to lure an Israeli soldier into a trap. The soldier was captured and later released in a prisoner exchange. The incident forced Mossad to tighten its own operational security, including stricter rules on which operatives can run honey traps and how much personal information they can reveal. There have also been ethical debates within Israeli intelligence. Some officers have questioned whether manipulating young men's emotions crosses a moral line, especially when the targets are not high-ranking commanders but low-level foot soldiers. Others argue that in asymmetric warfare, any tool that saves Israeli lives is justified. The most dramatic moment in any honey trap operation is the arrest. In the case of Abu Omar, the climax unfolded in a small cafe in a quiet Israeli city. The room was dimly lit, the background music low. He sat across from the woman he thought he loved, sipping coffee, laughing at her jokes. For a brief moment, he felt normal. He felt free. Then, without warning, the door opened. 3 men in plain clothes entered. They moved fast, silent, professional. One stood behind him. Another blocked the exit. The third approached the woman, who remained calm, almost detached. Abu Omar, one of the men said in Arabic, "You're under arrest." He froze. He looked at the woman. Her expression didn't change. She didn't apologize. She didn't cry. She just stood up and walked away. He was cuffed, blindfolded, and led out through a back door. A van was waiting. Within minutes, he was on his way to a secret facility. Later, in interrogation, he was shown the truth, her real identity, her Mossad badge, the logs of every message he had ever sent. He broke down. He wasn't angry at Mossad. He was ashamed of himself. He had given away everything, his unit, his commanders, his plans for a fantasy. And that, in many ways, is the real power of the honey trap. It doesn't just extract intelligence. It shatters the target's sense of reality, identity, and trust. The consequences of these operations ripple far beyond the individual operative. For the target, the aftermath is often devastating. If he survives, he faces years in prison, isolation from his family, and the stigma of being a traitor in the eyes of Hamas. Many are never the same psychologically. They struggle with guilt, shame, and a deep sense of betrayal. For Hamas, the impact is strategic. Each honey trap operation can unravel an entire cell. Commanders are arrested. Weapons caches are discovered. Attacks are disrupted. Morale suffers, especially when operatives realize they were manipulated by someone they thought loved them. For Mossad, the operations are a major intelligence success. They provide real-time, human-level intelligence that satellites and drones cannot. They allow Israel to stay one step ahead of Hamas, even in the dense urban environment of Gaza. But there are costs. Hamas has adapted. They now run counterintelligence campaigns, teaching operatives to be suspicious of online relationships. They monitor social media for fake profiles and warn their members about digital seduction. There are also diplomatic and legal risks. If a honey trap operation is exposed, especially if it involves a foreign national or a civilian, it can trigger international backlash. Israel has been accused of violating privacy, manipulating emotions, and using deception in ways that blur the line between espionage and psychological warfare. What happened to Abu Omar is not just an Israeli story. It's a sign of how modern warfare is changing. In the 21st century, the battlefield is not just physical. It's digital, it's psychological, it's social. Militant groups, intelligence agencies, and even state actors are using social media as a weapon. They create fake identities, build fake relationships, and manipulate emotions to achieve strategic goals. The tools are cheap, the reach is global, and the impact can be enormous. Honey traps are no longer just a Cold War relic. They are a core part of modern intelligence operations. Russia, China, Iran, and the United States all run similar campaigns, targeting diplomats, soldiers, and activists. For ordinary people, the lesson is clear. Anyone online could be lying. A friendly message, a romantic connection, a shared interest, all of it can be a carefully constructed illusion designed to extract information, money, or influence. In the age of deepfakes, AI-generated voices, and hyper-realistic profiles, trust is the most dangerous vulnerability. If there's one thing to take away from this story, it's this: in the digital age, the most dangerous person you can meet online is the one who seems to understand you perfectly. Mossad didn't catch Hamas operatives with brute force. They caught them with empathy, with patience, and with a deep understanding of human weakness. They turned loneliness, desire, and the need for connection into weapons. For anyone who uses social media, especially in conflict zones or high-risk environments, the warning is clear: be suspicious of sudden, intense online relationships. Never share sensitive information, even with someone you think you love. Verify identities, especially if the person avoids video calls or seems too perfect. Understand that every message, every photo, every location tag can be used against you. And for the rest of us, this story is a reminder of how fragile trust has become. In a world where anyone can be anyone, the line between truth and deception is thinner than ever. The woman in the cafe was never real, but the trap was. And for the Hamas operative who walked into it, that truth came too late.